Then we just see the most amazing weekend of complete Six Nations chaos. Only one result was really a clear-cut one. The others completely threw most people out there. Starting off with the Ireland-Italy game, I was pretty convinced that Italy was going to push it close, and I wouldn't have been too shocked if they actually pulled off the win. And they came really close. It was down to the bounce of the ball. If they literally had that little kick over the top, just bounce a little bit to the left, it would have been a score under the post, and that would have set the game up for an interesting last couple of minutes. Personally, I'm not a big fan of James Lowe, but I have to give him credit. He was absolutely monstrous on the day. The amount of defensive work that he put in and his work under the high kicks, especially, was tremendous. He really stood out for the Irish and was one of the few bright sparks for the team. As soon as Gibson Park also came on, you could just see the complete difference in class. His kicking from the base was just out of this world. Put the Irish in positions that actually saved their butt on the day. You have to, however, give credit to Italy for a few things that they did especially well. They really dominated the rucks. They dominated scrum time, and they had a lot more creativity in midfield. That creativity set up a couple of very, very near scares for the Irish team, and they were lucky to come away with the win, actually down to the wire. And I really loved watching this game. It just showed how far Italy have come and how much work is left for Ireland to get back to their best. They still have all the firepower, don't you get me wrong, but they need to get back to their discipline. They get back to that discipline that their coach has instilled in them. They going to be back as a dominant force. They have thrown open the Six Nations long now. France is still at the top, but Ireland is in contention, Italy is in contention, England is in contention, and Scotland is in contention to take up that second spot. Nobody gave Scotland a chance really this time around against England. The way they've just been way too erratic has really made it difficult to put a lot of belief in the Scottish team. But you have to give credit where it's due. Finn Russell, when he's on song, is just about the top fly-off in the world. He was absolutely spectacular, and he really dictated that game. The English were also definitely convinced that they were just going to have a walk in the park, run all over Scotland, and come away with a win. I know they had it in the back of their minds that they would walk away with an easy win. So was I. But in the end, Scotland proved that as soon as they see those white jerseys in front of them, it's just a whole different prospect. And I really loved a lot of the play that Scotland put together, and they just kept coming. They were consistent and they were creative. It was really fun to watch. And if you're an English supporter, that scoreline actually flatters them a little bit. The 31-20 doesn't really tell the whole story, and that last score towards the end just helped them save a little bit of face. But overall, they were completely crushed. But remember, this England side is getting better and better. As a South African supporter, you might think that I wouldn't give them any credit, but you need to give them credit where it's due. They are actually a top side. They are stepping up, and they are improving dramatically with every passing game. They're going to learn from this, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the rest of the Six Nations. When you look at the Wales versus France game, you might just say, oh, it was just a blowout. Wales lost it completely, and it was just France running riot. On the one side, you have to give France credit. They showed their class. They didn't really give Wales any chance to get into the game, and they proved that they are just superior at the moment. That is all good and well, but Wales are slowly but surely trying to build up something. And the way that they need to look at it is they need to look at the situation when it was already a little dire with about 20 minutes to go. They were down 54-7. At the time, you might think, okay, this is just going to run into the 70s or 80s for France. What Wales, however, did is they dug deep and they actually scored another try and kept France scoreless for those last few minutes. This doesn't mean it's the start of a renaissance for the Wales team, but it should give them some hope. They're in a bad situation, and as I mentioned last week, they need to start building from the ground up. Start with their defense and steadily improve. They proved that for the last 20 minutes, and that is exactly what they need to do this coming weekend as well. If they can focus on taking the 20 minutes and turning it into 30 minutes, that is a step in the right direction. They're still not going to end with a impressive Six Nations, but if they keep evolving week after week, they're going to get into a situation where the self-belief will start to return. This coming weekend is, however, going to be an interesting one. There are three very interesting games that will be playing out, and it might determine in a big way how the log ends. First up, you have England against Ireland, and that is going to be a game where you'll have a wounded England and you have an Ireland that knows that they are not exactly where they need to be. So I think both teams are going to step up. The problem is it's going to be played at Twickenham, and I believe England is going to really turn the screws on Ireland this time around. It's not going to be what you saw in the previous couple of years where Ireland dominates this fixture. So it would be interesting to see how that one actually turns out. The game between Wales and Scotland is, however, going to be a total different affair. If Scotland switches off after beating England, they might just open the door a little bit for Wales. Wales are struggling for confidence at the moment, so they might not be able to see the opportunities. They might not be able to make that step up, but they might actually be far more competitive than they've been in the last couple of months. As I mentioned a little earlier, if they can take their 20 minutes of good defense and a little bit of offense and turn it into 30 or maybe 40, it's going to be a massive boost for them. They can actually do that in the second half, and they can really show themselves that they can turn a game around. That is going to make things a lot more interesting, and it's going to be brilliant for Wales. Right? France versus Italy game, you don't expect to go any other direction than France coming away with the win. They're playing in France, but Italy has been a very exciting prospect. With the speed that they have at the breakdowns and their determination to actually see out games, it might get very interesting this time around. If you just look at how they defended to close out the game in the first round, defending 30 phases, they do have what it takes to pull off a shocker. They have also shown that if the ball just bounces a little bit in their favor, they might have picked up a win against Ireland. So you never know what might be happening in this one against France. But I do believe it's still going to be a France game. So my prediction for the weekend actually is England winning against Ireland, Scotland winning against Wales, and France winning against Italy. But there might be a few close ones here. So I'm looking forward to a lot more chaotic Six Nations this week.